Ferrari Purosangue 2026, the Ferrari that changed everything. Imagine a Ferrari that you can drive every day, take your family in, carry luggage, travel long distances, and still enjoy the sound and performance of a naturally aspirated V12. That is exactly what makes the Ferrari Purosangue so special. For 2026, the Purosangue remains one of the most exciting and unusual cars in the Ferrari range, because it combines the drama of a Ferrari sports car with the practicality of 4 doors and 4 proper seats. The name Purosangue means thoroughbred in Italian, and Ferrari chose this name for a reason. This car was not created simply to become another luxury SUV. Ferrari wanted to build something that felt like a Ferrari first, while also giving drivers more space, comfort and everyday usability. The result is a car that looks completely different from traditional SUVs and feels very different from almost everything else on the road. The first thing you notice about the Purosangue is its design. From a distance, it looks wide, low and incredibly aggressive. It has the strong shape of a performance car, but with a higher driving position and enough space for 4 adults. Ferrari has managed to give the car a powerful road presence without making it look like a conventional large SUV. At the front, the Purosangue has a long, muscular bonnet that hints at the incredible engine sitting underneath it. The headlights are slim and modern, while the front end has large air openings designed to help cool the engine and brakes. Every part of the body has been shaped with a purpose, but Ferrari has also made sure the design remains beautiful. The side profile is perhaps the most interesting part of the car. The roof flows backwards in a smooth line, making the Purosangue look closer to a 4-door sports car than a traditional SUV. The wheel arches are strong and muscular, giving the car a planted appearance. Large wheels fill the arches perfectly and make the whole car look ready to attack a fast corner. Then you notice something very unusual. The rear doors open backwards. Ferrari calls these its welcome doors. This design is not just about creating a dramatic entrance. It also makes it easier for passengers to get into the rear seats. Ferrari wanted the rear passengers to feel like they were entering a proper luxury car rather than climbing into the back of a sports car. Inside, the Purosangue becomes even more interesting. Ferrari has designed the cabin around 4 individual seats, meaning this is not a typical 2+2 sports car with tiny rear seats. The rear passengers get proper space and comfortable seats, making long journeys much easier. The interior is focused heavily on the driver, but Ferrari has also made the passenger an important part of the experience. The dashboard has a special twin cockpit design, with the front passenger getting their own display area. This gives the passenger more information and makes them feel involved in the driving experience. The steering wheel carries the familiar Ferrari character, with important controls positioned close to the driver's hands. The entire cabin feels modern but still connected to Ferrari's racing heritage. You are surrounded by high-quality materials, beautiful detailing and technology, but the main purpose remains driving. And then there is the biggest reason why the Purosangue is so exciting, the engine. Instead of using a small turbocharged engine or a hybrid system as the main source of power, Ferrari gave the Purosangue a naturally aspirated 6.5-litre V12. It produces 725 CV and can rev all the way to 8,250 revolutions per minute. That number alone tells you that this is not an ordinary luxury family car. The V12 delivers the kind of sound that has become increasingly rare in the modern automotive world. As the revs rise, the engine becomes louder, sharper and more emotional. There is no need to artificially create drama. The engine itself provides it. The maximum torque figure is around 716 Nm, and Ferrari has designed the power delivery to feel strong across the reverend range. The result is a car that can feel relaxed when you are driving around town, but incredibly aggressive when you press the accelerator. The performance is almost difficult to believe when you consider that this car has 4 doors and 4 seats. Ferrari quotes a 0 to 100 km/h time of just 3.3 seconds and 0 to 200 km/h in 10.6 seconds. That means the Purosangue can accelerate like a serious sports car while giving you the practicality of a large performance machine. The top speed is over 300 km/h, making it one of the fastest 4-seat performance cars available. But straight-line speed is only one part of the story. Ferrari has worked extremely hard to make sure the Purosangue can also handle corners with the confidence you expect from a Ferrari. This is where the engineering becomes fascinating. Ferrari has used an advanced 4-wheel drive system, rear-wheel steering and sophisticated electronic controls to give the Purosangue strong grip and impressive agility. It also features Ferrari's active suspension technology, designed to control body movement and maintain contact between the tires and road. This is extremely important because the Purosangue is not a small car. It has a larger body and a higher driving position than Ferrari's traditional sports cars. Ferrari therefore had to find a way to make it feel agile without losing comfort. The active suspension system is one of the biggest parts of that solution. It constantly works to manage the car's movements, helping reduce body roll during cornering while also improving comfort when the road becomes rough. That gives the Purosangue two personalities. When you are traveling through a city, it can feel comfortable, quiet and refined. You can enjoy the leather, the technology and the high driving position while moving through traffic. But when you reach an open road, everything can change. Push the accelerator and the V12 wakes up. The revs climb rapidly, the sound becomes intense, and the car starts to feel much more like the Ferrari it was born to be. This dual personality is probably the biggest achievement of the Purosangue. Ferrari has never wanted to make a conventional SUV. Instead, the company created a completely different type of performance car. Ferrari itself describes the Purosangue as its first four-door, four-seater model, while still keeping the driving character of its sports cars. That difference can also be seen in the driving position. You sit higher than you would in a traditional Ferrari sports car, but Ferrari has worked to keep the driver connected to the chassis. The seating position does not feel like you are sitting far away from the road. Instead, the driver still feels closely connected to the car, which is important when you are driving quickly. Another major advantage is the four-wheel drive system. Having power sent to all four wheels helps the Purosangue put its power down effectively, especially when the road surface is wet or slippery. This is particularly useful for drivers in countries where weather can change quickly. The car can be used throughout the year rather than being treated as a machine that only comes out on perfect summer days. The Purosangue is also much more practical than most Ferraris. There are 4 proper doors, 4 comfortable seats and a useful boot. Ferrari says the car has the largest luggage compartment it has offered, and the rear seats can be folded to create additional space. This means you can actually use the car for a weekend away. You can put luggage in the back, take passengers with you and still enjoy the feeling of driving something incredibly special. That is what separates the Purosangue from many traditional supercars. With a 2-seat Ferrari, you often have to think carefully about where you are going, how much luggage you can carry and whether the journey will be comfortable. With the Purosangue, those problems are greatly reduced. You can drive it to a business meeting in the morning, take your family out in the afternoon and enjoy a fast country road drive in the evening. And that makes it one of the most versatile Ferraris ever created. But versatility does not mean Ferrari has forgotten luxury. The cabin is designed to feel special from the moment you open the door. The seats are individually shaped and designed for comfort, while the materials and finishing can be personalized in many different ways. Ferrari offers a wide range of customization options, allowing owners to create a car that feels personal rather than simply choosing from a few standard colors. This is important because a Ferrari is not just transportation. For many owners, it is a personal statement. The exterior can be finished in classic Ferrari colors or more unusual combinations. Inside, buyers can select different leather, trim and detailing options to create a cabin that matches their taste. The technology is also impressive, but Ferrari has avoided turning the interior into a giant screen-filled lounge. Instead, the cabin keeps the driver at the center of the experience. Ferrari's unusual dashboard layout creates 2 cockpit areas, with the passenger also receiving information through their own display. This is a clever idea because it means the passenger can become part of the journey rather than simply sitting beside the driver. For a car that can carry 4 people at very high speeds, comfort is just as important as performance. The rear seats are designed for adults, and Ferrari has paid attention to making entry and exit easier. The rear hinged doors help create a large opening, while the rear seats can also be electrically adjusted. This makes the Purosangue suitable for longer journeys where comfort matters. However, the most emotional part of the car will always be the V12. In 2026, the naturally aspirated V12 remains the heart of the Purosangue experience. In a world where many performance cars are moving towards smaller turbocharged engines and electrification, the character of a high-revving Ferrari V12 feels increasingly special. The engine does not simply provide speed. It provides an experience. There is a big difference between hearing a powerful engine and hearing a Ferrari V12 climbing towards its red line. The sound changes as the revs increase. At low speeds, it can feel smooth and controlled. As you push harder, the engine becomes more aggressive. Near the top of the rev range, it delivers that high-pitched Ferrari character that enthusiasts love. This is one reason the Purosangue has attracted so much attention. It is not simply another expensive performance car. It represents a very unusual combination of ideas. A Ferrari, 4 doors, 4 seats, a large boot, all-wheel drive, active suspension, and a naturally aspirated V12. Put all of those things together and you get something that is extremely difficult to compare with another car. The driving experience is also helped by the car's weight distribution. Ferrari designed the architecture around a front mid-mounted engine and a transaxle gearbox, helping achieve a weight distribution of around 49% front and 51% rear. That is a very important detail. A performance car needs balance. If too much weight is placed at one end, the car can become difficult to control when driven hard. By carefully positioning the major components, Ferrari has created a chassis designed to feel more balanced and responsive. The result should be a car that feels smaller from behind the wheel than it actually is. This is one of the great tricks of modern performance engineering. You look at the Purosangue and see a large, powerful 4-door car. But when you start driving, the steering, suspension, brakes and drivetrain work together to make the car feel much more agile. The brakes also have to deal with huge performance demands. A car capable of reaching very high speeds needs serious stopping power, and Ferrari has developed the braking system accordingly. The electronic systems are another important part of the experience. Ferrari has fitted advanced vehicle dynamics technology to help manage traction, braking, steering and grip. These systems work behind the scenes so the driver can use the car's performance with greater confidence. The important thing is that the technology does not remove the emotion. You still feel the engine. You still feel the road. You still feel the acceleration. The systems are there to help you use the performance rather than replace the driver. And that is exactly what makes a Ferrari feel different. The Purosangue also has a raised driving position, which provides a better view of the road compared with a low sports car. This makes it easier to use in everyday conditions, particularly in busy towns and cities. For a UK driver, that could make the Purosangue particularly interesting. British roads are not always perfect, and the weather can be unpredictable. A car with 4-wheel drive, advanced suspension and a more practical body can make daily driving easier. Of course, this is still a Ferrari. Fuel consumption is not going to be the main reason anyone buys one. The naturally aspirated V12 is designed for performance and emotion, not economy. Ferrari's published WLTP figures show combined fuel consumption of around 17.3 liters per 100 kilometers and combined CO2 emissions around 393 grams per kilometer for the stated specification. So this is not a car designed for someone who wants to save money at the fuel station. It is designed for someone who wants an experience. And that experience begins every time you start the engine. The Purosangue also has something that many modern performance cars are beginning to lose: character. Numbers can tell you how fast a car is. They can tell you how much power it makes. They can tell you how quickly it accelerates. But numbers cannot explain how a car makes you feel. The Purosangue is designed to make every journey feel important. Even a short drive can become an event because of the engine sound, the steering response, the design and the feeling of sitting inside something that very few people will ever own. This is especially true when you see the car on the road. The low roofline, wide body and dramatic front end make it instantly recognizable. It does not need enormous badges to tell people what it is. The shape does the talking. And that is another reason why the Purosangue has become such an important Ferrari. It proves that practicality does not necessarily have to mean losing emotion. Ferrari could have created a conventional SUV with a powerful engine and a luxurious interior. Instead, it chose a much harder route. The company tried to preserve the spirit of a Ferrari while adding space and everyday usability. That required a completely new approach to the chassis, suspension, doors, interior and packaging. The result is a car that feels like it belongs to a new category. It is not quite an SUV. It is not a traditional supercar. It is not a normal luxury GT. It is something in between. And perhaps that is why the name Purosangue fits so well. The car is a thoroughbred. Ferrari, but one that has learned how to live in the real world. For 2026, that identity remains the key attraction. The Purosangue does not need to compete simply by having the biggest engine, the largest screen or the most aggressive appearance. Its biggest advantage is that it brings together things that normally do not exist in the same car. You get the practicality of 4 doors. You get 4 genuine seats. You get a useful boot. You get all-wheel drive. You get advanced active suspension. And you get a 725 CV naturally aspirated V12. That combination is extraordinary. The question is not whether the Ferrari Purosangue is fast. It clearly is. The more interesting question is whether it can be used every day. And that is where the car becomes really impressive. It has the comfort needed for longer journeys, the space needed for passengers and luggage, and the technology needed to make everyday driving easier. But whenever you want excitement, the Ferrari character is waiting underneath the bonnet. Press the accelerator and the entire personality changes. The engine climbs through the reverend range. The sound fills the cabin. The road begins to disappear behind you. And suddenly you remember that you are not driving an ordinary 4-door luxury car. You are driving a Ferrari. That is probably the biggest achievement of the Purosangue. It makes practicality exciting, it makes comfort emotional, and it makes the idea of a 4-door Ferrari feel completely natural. The 2026 Ferrari Purosangue is therefore much more than a new luxury performance car. It is a statement about what Ferrari believes a modern high-performance car can be. It shows that a Ferrari can have 4 doors without losing its identity. It shows that a Ferrari can have 4 comfortable seats without becoming boring. And it shows that a car can be practical while still delivering the drama of a high-revving V12. For enthusiasts, that engine alone makes the Purosangue special. For families, the 4 seats and extra space make it useful. For collectors, its importance in Ferrari history makes it extremely interesting. And for anyone who simply loves beautiful cars, the design makes it difficult to ignore. The Ferrari Purosangue is not perfect for everyone. It is expensive, powerful and thirsty, and its performance is far beyond what most people need for everyday driving. But that was never really the point. A Ferrari is about emotion. It is about engineering. It is about design. And it is about creating a feeling that stays with you long after the drive has finished. The Purosangue takes that idea and brings it into a completely new shape. So, if you are looking for a 2026 Ferrari that can deliver breathtaking performance while carrying 4 adults in comfort, the Purosangue stands in a class of its own. It has the heart of a supercar, the comfort of a grand tourer and the practicality of a modern performance vehicle. Most importantly, it still feels like a Ferrari. And that is why the Ferrari Purosangue 2026 is not simply another fast luxury car. It is one of the most remarkable Ferraris ever made. A 4-door Ferrari was once something that sounded almost impossible. Now it is real, and under the bonnet is a naturally aspirated V12 that reminds us why Ferrari has always been one of the most emotional names in the world of cars. The Purosangue may have changed the shape of the Ferrari experience, but it has not changed the soul. It is still about speed. It is still about sound. It is still about beauty. And above everything else, it is still about the feeling you get when you press the accelerator and hear a Ferrari V12 come alive. That is the real magic of the Ferrari. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my YouTube channel.